so excited to be here to see different people. I know some screens are short, but we start anyway. I'd like to start by presenting a video that introduces you all to the world of the Global Play Brigade, of which I'm here to talk about extensively, amongst all other things that I do. So you're going to be hearing more about the Global Play Brigade today, and how we are co-creating playful spaces for serious conversations. Are we ready? I usually love a very interactive session. It's going to be a very playful, engaging session. So we will be playing for sure. So let's start with this video that introduces you to the world of the Global Play Brigade. 1 second. I believe you can all see my screen.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Awesome.
Play is community, discovery, a door to possibility. How we change, how we trust. For everyone, young and old. Come play with people around the globe to grow, to heal together.
Welcome to the Global Play Brigade. The Global Play Brigade was founded in June of 2020 in response to the worldwide pandemic. We wanted to create a welcoming and diverse space via Zoom and WhatsApp to bring people together from all over the world to support each other through this crisis with play. We are a volunteer community of play and performance activists, theater artists, improvisers, educators, clowns, and therapists who gathered in response to the global pandemic and the painful, inequitable state of our world. The Global Play Brigade uses play across borders to build community and connection, creating new possibilities for social change. Through our free virtual play and emotional support workshops, we bring together strangers and friends from all corners of the globe to talk, to move, to laugh, to cry together. Thank you so much for being a part of the Global Play Brigade. We're thrilled to meet you. At the end of our session today, you can find out different ways to get involved. Now, let's play!
I hope you enjoyed the video.
Yes.
I enjoyed the video.
Okay. Awesome. So usually we play this video at the beginning of our sessions at Global Play Brigade. We run what we call the Global Play Shop that runs every quarter. And before our play shops, which offers a collection of 9 to 10 play shops spread across 2 days, attended by people from all over the world. We usually will play this before we start. And so I thought it would be ideal to play this before we start our session today. And like the voiceover artist said, let's play. And I'd like to play with you all today. I'm really hoping that quite a number of you would be open to opening up your cameras so that we can look at your beautiful faces and I can engage with you. But if you can't, that's fine. I'd like to ask for 2 volunteers who would like to volunteer for this session. Okay, I see Julie. Awesome. Who else? Okay, awesome. Thank you, Tracy and Julie. Thanks for being a sport. Now we're going to play an activity called Performance of a Lifetime. Performance of a Lifetime. what does this mean? So Julie and Tracy, I'm going to ask you to tell strangers and friends in this space a story about your entire life in 60 seconds. It could be about your entire life, or it could be about a moment in your life. I could give an example, because I have a moment in my life I'd love to share with you all, because I wasn't sure I was going to be here today. And I'm going to time myself and make sure that it's 60 seconds. And I'm going to ask for another activity after I do that, and then we'll see how that goes with Julie and Tracy together. So I'm going to start. So on Sunday morning, I traveled to Lagos from Abuja in Nigeria. Lagos being the commercial capital of Nigeria, and Abuja being the Washington of the US, which is like the federal capital territory of Nigeria. So I was traveling down because I was about to start a project and I wanted to go visit a community leader together with my team. On the morning of Monday morning, I had an ulcer crisis and my entire week changed. I was in terrible pain. And it didn't reduce. I had to be rushed to the hospital, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me that week. I thought, oh, well, it's the first time, it will be okay. But what's happened? I am here. I made it. I made it here regardless. I made it here regardless, and I'm well. My 60 seconds is up. Now you know a moment in my life. Now I'm going to ask Julie and Tracy to use the chat and share my story like a poem, but a poem that sees the bright side of what I went through. And let's see how that goes. And you've got 30 seconds to share that with the group. And let's look at the chat. How did you take that? How did that make you feel? What other side did you see? Let's see your poem.
I'm sorry, am I supposed to put the poem in the chat? I mean, my 30
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, you are. So I'll say your 30 seconds starts now. Don't overthink it, just play with it. Awesome. Tracy says, when you're well, and Tracy, I think you should read it. Read this to us.
Okay. When you're well on your way to the coming new day and you find a stumbling block that's hard as a rock, you may fear it's the end, but there is no end. It's just another experience to feed your soul and make you whole.
Thank you for sharing that, Tracy. Means so much. Thank you for sharing that with me. I needed to hear that.
I can't make a poem. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay, Julie. It's okay, Julie. We'll keep it going. Someone has tried. Jan says, persevere with joy. And someone says that poem is lovely. Don't worry, we'll do this again. So now, Julie, even though you were not able to write our spontaneous poem, I want you to attempt the performance of a lifetime. Share your entire life story in 60 seconds or a moment in your life, and your time starts now.
Okay, I was born the youngest of 5 children, born in 6 years to a really great set of parents. We had a happy family. I enjoyed my childhood. We did lots of things. I loved being outside and playing. I had a tremendous imagination, and I was always imagining. Sometimes I was imagining I was Kimba the White Lion, and sometimes I was inventing new things. I was always very curious and loved to understand why. I loved school. I went to public school, and then I went to an all-girls high school. I enjoyed that because I really enjoyed school, and I didn't have to worry about anybody any boys or anything. I could just enjoy. I know that's weird, right? But I did. I loved my studies. I went to college. I became a school teacher, and then I taught for a number of
Time
years.
up. Time up. Thank you, Julie. And now I'm going to put a spin to this. I'm going to sing Julie's story. Are we ready? I love imagination. I love imagination. I could think about anything. I could think about anything. I could think about anything. My books and education.
That was amazing.
All right. All right. Let's try the last story with Tracy. Tracy, you've got 60 seconds to tell us your story, the performance of a lifetime, your entire life story, or a moment in your life.
All right. Recently, a friend and partner of mine said he wanted to do something. He wanted me to do something, and he kept asking, "Will you do this?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Will you do this?" "No." And I felt so empowered to just say no, and no explanation needed. I'm not afraid of hurting his feelings. I still love him. We're still working together, but I'm just like, no, thanks. And I just feel like my boundaries are strong now, and I know what I want and I don't want, and it's not like going to cause harm to anyone to just say no. And it's also just very protective and loving to myself. And I just felt really proud of that moment to just be okay saying no. I hope that was close to 60 seconds. Like, I can go more.
Awesome. That's fine, Tracy. Now, I want you to think about that story again. And I want you to tell us that story. But as opposed to you narrating it the way you did, I want you to act it. Can you take on the character of the person who was asking that question, which you said no to? And I want you to embody that character and reenact that story again. Let's go.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Okay, this is through text. He says, "Tracy, can you please just talk to my friend Philip? He's in this region and he knows a lot. And I really think if you talk to him that you'll understand why we should do this other thing." And I go, "No, I don't want to talk to him. Thank you." And he goes, "Well, do you think can we get this person as a driver? Because I really want to." "No, thank you." "Would you be open to considering talking to the driver just to see if you want to do it?" "No, thanks."
Thank you. Let's give our demonstrators a round of applause. Let me see your emoji applause blazing through the chat boxes. Now, I want us to take 2 seconds for everyone else who observed this session. What did you take in by seeing 3 of us share stories with everyone here who are both strangers and friends, acquaintances, or people we do not know, but we shared our lives with you all? How do you reflect on that? And also think about the spin we put on everyone's stories. And what did that do? What do you think it did to the conversation? Awesome. Megan says, felt a connection very quickly. Collective joy. Thank you, Sherry. Let me see more. I want to make sure that everyone is engaged in this space before I get into the core lecture of today. The spin brought joy and took down barriers to being with each other vulnerably. Absolutely. Joy gives joy by seeing happy faces. Thank you, Rahona. Thank you so much. Thank you all for the spin made it much more exciting. We became present very quickly. Absolutely. Tracy, that's really key. Present. And then Taona says, unclogs the worry toward joy and flow with connection. all is love. Thank you for being so giving with your feedback. And I'm glad that we're taking this in as I move on to sharing my slides with you all, which is based on what I would like us to listen to today, and why the Global Play Brigade exists and why we do what we do at the Global Play Brigade. So we've entitled this Co-Creating Playful Environments for Serious Conversations. In the beginning of the pandemic, like you would have seen, I'm hoping everyone can see my slides. If you can, let me see the chat and emoji. Say yes. Awesome, thank you. And you would have listened to the story when I played the video at the beginning. In the beginning of the pandemic, over 150 play and performance activists, incredible individuals from different corners of the world, including improvisers, educators, musicians, actors, therapists, clowns, you name it. We came together. It was inspired by Chen Zheng, one of our brigadiers in China, who reached out to Kathy Rose Salet, who was the founder of the Global Play Brigade, and Marion Rich, who's also the co-founder of Global Play Brigade in New York, USA, to offer playful emotional support workshops to those feeling scared, alone, and isolated in China. What unfolded in these sessions in Zoom for China was truly magical. It was laughter, tears, poetry like we've experienced today, and improvisation flowed freely, leaving an indelible mark in everyone involved. And so, as the entire world shut down, an idea took hold to put play to the test and see how it could both support and transform our lives in times of crisis. With an overwhelming yes echoing across the globe, these 150 beautiful individuals gathered on Zoom week after week, tirelessly, building an improvisational international community that unfolded daily. With passion and urgency, multiple committees were formed, then dissolved, new ones created, crazy timelines were set to accommodate time zones. And after considering at least 45 names to call this movement, the Global Play Brigade was born. In the midst of this crisis, this creative chaos, now dubbed brigadiers, we dreamt up workshops to offer for free to our fellow human beings across the world. We built a clunky website from scratch. We discovered together that play and emotional support were inseparable. And so we started offering playful emotional support sessions. We discovered together that play and emotional support were inseparable, and so all of our workshops embodied both, utilizing Zoom and WhatsApp to reach those with limited internet access in the poorest parts of the world. We began bringing together strangers. People in normal times had no business being together, but we broke down that barrier. Strangers speaking different languages found ways through play to make ordinary, interesting, and nourishing human connections. Since 2020, this volunteer, unruly, I would call, and unrelenting performing ensemble has provided over 486 free play shops and emotional support sessions via Zoom and WhatsApp, reaching almost 15,000 people from 97 countries of the world. And this is what our spread looks like. Our global approach. We believe very much at Global Play Brigade that any change that needs to be happened, that needs to happen from the grassroots. A lot of the lasting change that we've seen in our world starts from the grassroots. And so what do we mean by activity outreach? When we launched the Global Play Brigade, we called GPB for short, we said we wanted to build an international play community that would outlast the pandemic. And so in 2022, we improvisationally reflected on where we are, what was going on in the world, and what and how was Global Play Brigade actually evolving to. In doing so, we discovered some new possibilities for building this movement. We call it the local approach. Get it? Global and local. Local. That's what we mean here. First, we felt that, you know, our outreach, our reach and impact could be deepened by strengthening GPB play activities, both online and in person. That were emerging through our brigadiers across different geographies. And so we began forming regional centers or hubs, as we say. Those hubs are now GPB Latin America, which encompasses Nicaragua, Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, El Salvador, and GPB1 Asia, a continental hub with leaders from Japan, China, India, Pakistan, and Australia, and GPB Africa, a continental hub driven largely by Nigeria and a growing network of brigadiers in South Africa and Ghana. And then we have GPB North America, a continental hub with brigadiers in the United States and Canada. And I'm proud to say that GPB Europe is also in the works, with our growing network in Greece, Italy, Gibraltar, England, and Belgium. We say that they have caught the global play bug that we are spreading around. It's one bug that we're not afraid to spread around, you would agree. Second, we consolidated our global gatherings into quarterly get-togethers, where strangers becoming friends from all walks of life and across national boundaries get to participate in a variety of wonderful play shops. We had a session in November, on November 3rd and 4th, and I'm glad to say that Julie, and if I'm correct, Tracy, attended these sessions, and I'm glad that you did. And thank you for being there. When I took on the role as executive director of this revolutionary movement called Global Play Brigade just over a year ago, I had one clear goal in mind, and that clear goal was to make play mainstream. I'll say that again, make play mainstream. What does that mean? What does it mean to make play mainstream? Am I talking about Hollywood? Am I talking about, culture, the kind of culture we know as mainstream or mainstream music? Not necessarily. That's not what I mean. We're creating ways that people of all backgrounds, nations, sexes, races, ideologies, religious beliefs, or political affiliations can begin to experience play in culturally specific ways that are integrated into their everyday lives. What do I mean by everyday life? Simple things like food, language, long-held traditions, family, women's health, mental health, environment, entertainment, societal assumptions, to name a few. Now, I'll give you an example of some of the activities that our regions have embarked upon in trying to make play mainstream and integrate play into every sphere of life. So GPB1 Asia organized the Food Face Festival. They're actually running one now that's going to run till the end of this month. It's a celebration that brings people across nations into a cultural dialogue together through creative food play. GPB Latin America hosted Ponto Holish. The name actually is a combination of English, Portuguese, and Spanish. A play shop that allowed participants to play with languages, fostering understanding and connection. And then a play shop that allowed, then in GPB Japan, they also organized an in-person play shop, providing participants with a breath of fresh air and an understanding, would I say, an understanding of each other, and also embracing, giving them an opportunity to embrace their differences in a society where homogeneity is a societal norm. GPB Nigeria organized an in-person play shop and mountain hike in collaboration with an NGO fighting against female genital mutilation. And then GPB India, in collaboration with a grassroots mental health organization in India called Turning Point, is currently organizing what we call Open the Door, a talent showcase for special able persons. Another edition is scheduled for February 2024. You can check out our website to learn more about it. There's actually a call for applications for talents for special abled people to put in, and so that we can celebrate them. Now, all of this has not gone without its challenges and opportunities, and I will share that with you shortly. We continue to learn and discover in our quest to make play mainstream. One of the challenges we have observed is that while traditional or mainstream institutions may acknowledge the importance of play and performance for children, which itself is still an ongoing battle in many places. The whole idea of the rights of children to play, it's still an ongoing battle. But they fall short when it comes to imagining and integrating it into systems, into processes that are in desperate need of its transformative power. The Global Play Brigade sees tremendous opportunities for growth and impact here. We believe that by continuing to push for the integration of play in these systems and institutions, we can truly make a difference in the lives of individuals and communities worldwide. For many or most people, this concept is abstract. It's for children. It's frivolous. It's weird. And so it can be tough to put into relatable terms. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. It's a story of myself and the founder of the Global Play Brigade, Kathy Salett. So we went for this meeting at the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations, UNAOC, to present, all that we're doing and have a conversation about what we're doing with play and transformation and for peace building. And they were intrigued and interested by the kind of work and impact that Global Play Brigade was having, our global reach, our volunteer participation, our vision and mission, but they could simply not wrap their head around the idea of adults playing. Like, think about it, even in your cultural context, adults playing. So you know what? Kathy hopped up and started performing. She began moving in slow motion around the room and singing, instantaneously transforming the environment and disrupting this normal meeting. You all had a tip of the iceberg when I turned Julie's story into music, right? Into song. It has that magic. As she moved, she described one of our play shops, performing the story real time. Like I said, it was a light bulb moment for these officials and a turning point in our conversation. Let's do something big together, said the head of the group. The current world situation is a mess. We need to try something totally new. Maybe we need to play. This conversation with UNAOC continues with a partnership project brewing as we speak. So yes, there are challenges in conveying the message of play, but we see them as opportunities to educate and inspire one person or 1,000 people at a time. Now, here are some new initiatives that we are also experimenting as we evolve as a movement. Like the Global Play Brigade believes in the philosophy of becoming. And so even in the design of the movement itself, we usually would not say that we know all that we are. It's an improvisational movement. Its leadership, its involvement is growing. And I think that it is that playful approach to the development of the movement in itself that helps us keep initiating something new and seeing how that can impact our world. And we're continuously doing that. So like we're developing a web-based application we call the GPB Play Generator. It's a nifty tool that will be hosted on our website and will help people all around the world access to play activities that will fit their specific needs. We've also just launched the GPB Educators Salon, and I know that there are quite a number of educators in the room today. It's a project that focuses on integrating playful elements into educational environments. The Educators Salon aims to empower teachers and educators to bring more playfulness into their classrooms, sparking creativity, engagement, and joy in learning. Other upcoming projects include the GPB's Ambassadors Program, which is being designed as a capacity strengthening fellowship for performance activists across the world to aid in the amplification of play at conferences, forums, and workshops across the world. We just submitted a proposal together with educational partners in Belgium and Denmark. It is a proposal around changing climate change narratives using play and performance. These projects are still in their early stages, but we're bursting with excitement to see the impact they'll have in our world. And I'm sure that with all that I've said, some of you will be asking the question, so what has all of this got to do with climate change? What exactly is Rita talking about at this point? So recently I was listening to the latest podcast series by one of my favorite comedians called Trevor Noah. I don't know whether he's any of your favorites, but I love him very much. And in his intro, he had this to say. He said, if we cannot have conversations about difficult things, if the conversation themselves are now the difficult things, then what hope do we have in fixing the difficult things? I almost think of it as a minefield. One of the most dangerous places you can step into is a minefield. The danger comes when you step into the minefield. So now imagine if discussing how to navigate the minefield is as dangerous as a minefield itself. That's what I feel like we are living in now. I hope to get into those conversations. Let's chat about the things that make us uncomfortable. Let's chat to the people that make us uncomfortable. Let's come to consensus. Let's walk away with still fighting, but understanding each other a little bit more. But most importantly, let's have these conversations, is what he said. And I couldn't agree more. And this is why I believe that if we are to impact climate change, end wars, poverty, inequality, and educational challenges, we need to explore new and radically different approaches for talking and listening to each other. We need to create environments that help us see and think in new ways. We need to change the climate of our everyday and higher level conversations. For me, play is a crucial and underutilized method for redesigning our environments, both micro and macro. And I dare say that we need more integration of play into systems, into processes, into solutions that are being created to transform climate change narratives today. And I think I would like to end my session here. I wanted to play a little bit, but this is what I have to say. And I want to say thank you so much for listening. And I'd like to say that Global Play Brigade is the growing movement and the growing experiment that affords us the opportunity to keep, experimenting new possibilities in which we can create and impact our world and transform our world. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening.